Another week in the books and another summertime Friday has arrived. I'm Cole Young, and there's a lot to cover in this week's edition of Sports Corner, so I'll get right to it. Major news broke out last week in the world of college sports. USC and UCLA will be leaving the Pac-12 conference to join the Big Ten. USC has been in the Pac-12, formerly the Pac-10, conference for 100 years, and UCLA for 94. The Pac-12 released a statement saying they were extremely surprised and disappointed by the two schools' decisions to leave the conference. Ultimately, it seems the decision boiled down to finances. The schools believe they can generate more revenue in a different conference. The two schools will begin play in the Big Ten Conference as early as 2024, as USC and UCLA have a grant of rights tied to the current Pac-12 television contract, which expires after the 2023 football season and the 2023-2024 school year. The conference now relies heavily on the University of Oregon as well as the University of Washington to be the faces of the conference. Just last year, University of Texas as well as University of Oklahoma also left their Big 12 conference to join the SEC. This situation, as well as the one from last year with Oklahoma and Texas, makes fans wonder, what will the landscape of college sports look like in years to come? Will there even be conferences anymore? Will the current conferences rearrange entirely? It's an interesting situation that's just in its beginning stages. I, for one, am interested to see how the Trojans and Bruins will compete in this new football conference, especially against major powerhouse teams like Michigan or Ohio State. One positive outcome, if you're a USC or UCLA fan, you will get treated to earlier games a lot more often, instead of the all-too-common 7 or 8 p.m. kickoff time that SoCal fans are used to. Over in the world of tennis, the 2022 Wimbledon tournament is still raging on. Here's a look at the men's singles bracket. Sad news came out of the men's semifinals when two-time Wimbledon champion Rafael Nadal pulled out of the remainder of the tournament after suffering a torn abdominal muscle. This means Australia's Nick Kyrgios will be facing off against Great Britain's Cameron Norrie for the finals on Sunday morning. Neither one of these players has ever made it to the final round of Wimbledon, so a new champion will be crowned. Or Nick Kyrgios will be facing six-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic in the final round of the tournament. Djokovic is looking to win his 4th straight title and 7th since 2011. Over on the women's side of the bracket, Elena Rybakina will be facing Tunisia's Ons Jabeur for the women's finals on Saturday morning. Neither of these women have ever made it to the final round of Wimbledon, so a new champion will also be crowned in the women's side of the bracket this weekend. It is weird to see a Wimbledon women's finals without either of the Williams sisters, Venus or Serena, because at least one, if not both of them, have been in the finals 16 times in the last 20 years. Tune in this weekend to see which players will come out on top and be crowned champion at Wimbledon. While we wait for NFL season to start, breaking news that most fans were pretty much expecting came out on Wednesday morning. Former #1 overall pick Baker Mayfield has been traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Carolina Panthers for a conditional draft pick. Mayfield requested a trade from Cleveland after the team signed Deshaun Watson to a massive, record-breaking $230 million contract. The team initially denied Mayfield's request, keeping him on the roster, as the future for Watson is a bit murky as he faces several lawsuits. However, Mayfield has finally been freed from the Browns and will join a young team with potential in Carolina. On the other end of the deal, the Panthers trade comes with a few questions. Mayfield joins a Panthers team that already has Sam Darnold, who the team acquired from the New York Jets at the start of last season. The Panthers also drafted Matt Corral out of Ole Miss in the 3rd round of this year's draft. Now, Mayfield and Darnold, who competed with each other to become the #1 pick in 2018, will compete again in training camp alongside a talented rookie to become the starter of the Panthers offense. Mayfield is coming off of a rocky season which saw him tear his labrum and his non-throwing shoulder in week 2. Mayfield elected against having surgery and played the remainder of the year, and the Browns would finish 8-9 and miss the playoffs. When Mayfield is healthy, he can be a dangerous quarterback. If that shoulder is healed and NFL superstar Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, the Panthers will have a pretty talented offense. The cherry on top of this whole trade, though, the Panthers and Browns play each other week 1 of the NFL season. Speaking of free agents, last week I reported that Kyrie Irving opted into his contract with the Brooklyn Nets. I said that this means Kyrie will be staying with Brooklyn, and while that is an option, it's not 100% guaranteed. Last weekend, both Irving and Kevin Durant expressed their willingness to be traded out of Brooklyn. Durant named Phoenix and Miami as 2 of his top destinations, while rumors still circulate Irving will be going to the Lakers. However, some league officials believe teams would have to give up way too much to receive either one of these players. This theory was cemented after the Minnesota Timberwolves gave up guards Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, forward Jared Vanderbilt, along with guard Leandro Balmoro, and the draft rights to center Walker Kessler, and Minnesota's 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029 first-round picks, and a 2026 first-round pick swap. The phrase paid an arm and a leg gets thrown around a lot, and Minnesota gave up about 4 arms and 8 legs for Rudy Gobert. But going back to the Durant and Irving, this trade sets a very high precedent. If Utah could receive all of these players and all of these picks, Brooklyn should ask for double that amount for either Irving or Durant. It's not completely out of the question though, and we still could see one, if not both, of these superstars with new teams at the start of next season. There's so much going on across all major sports, so make sure to tune in to some of the exciting games, matches, races, and so much more this weekend. I'm Cole Young. Enjoy another weekend of beautiful weather, and I'll see you next time on Sports Corner.